I just knew that was coming.
Yep. Oops. Oh, there we go.
What a start. What a start, man. Yes, it is Thursday. It is 9. So that means it's UK Cowboys time.
Cowboys time.
Yeah. Just in case you're wondering, I'm a little delirious. I've been in work since 3:30 this morning. So this is going to be fun.
Yeah, and I've been working up till now. so we're both feeling a wee bit right now.
Yeah. I've been kicking the sneak quite a lot today.
Yeah, I've got a newfound, like, not to kind of put brands out there, but I've put a pure found love with Monster Energy right now. Like, see the fruit punch one?
Yes.
Oh, I'm addicted to it, and I try and stay away for the full sugar ones. And I've got that other energy drink I just bought. The
one you showed me with the mojito.
With the mojito flavor and stuff like that, and it's really nice. But somehow I just keep going back to the can of the, what you call it?
Yeah,
Monster fruit punch, and I just can't get enough of it.
The mango one is really good too. If you haven't tried the mango one.
Funny enough, that's the one I've got right now.
That's a good one, and I think what it is like, you know, like the one you were on about, the mojito one, which I've looked at, I am going to get from them, and Sneak. They're obviously sugar free and, you know, low in calorie and all of that. But sometimes when you're tired, you need the energy.
You really do need that sugar boost for some days. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And for Lisa, like, for especially when it comes to us watching a game.
Oh yes,
in the early hours in the morning. Like the caffeine overload, the sugar overload that we go through, like, especially that 24-hour draft show that we did. But I don't know how many energy drinks we went through, how many coffees we went through. But just to put that in perspective, it's like the time difference kills us regardless.
It does. And a lot of people, like, when you speak, you know, we speak to, like, the guys over in Dallas Cowboys media, and they'll just be like, "Are you okay?" And you're just like, "Yeah, just tired."
Yeah, that's the only one way to describe it is tired.
Just tired. Yeah, we work off Central Time. But here we are. Here's the third.
Oh, there he is. There is the man, the legend,
big man himself. Here he is, Mr. Big Game James. He's been on the show so many times. He's going to change his name to Sir Big Game James.
What's up, fellas? What's up, man?
Yeah,
I'm good. How are you?
Man, I'm good. I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's always good when I jump on here, man. I'm like, I told you last week couldn't do it. And as soon as you said that, I said, all right, man, I already put it in the schedule. Already let them know we ain't. Bye. See you later. 3:00. I'm out of here because y'all know what I'm doing. So they already know what's up. So I'm ready to have a good time. It's good talking to y'all again, man. It's good talking to y'all, dog. This period. I love talking to y'all.
I love it. Yes.
Feel me?
Because, I mean, the last time we spoke to you was pre-draft.
Right.
So I went back and checked. And it's quite funny. Do you remember we were speaking? And we this show goes in the audio. We rip the audio out of it, put it on for that as well. And I send you the pictures, and I was like, look at this. It's finished, and it finished with 666 downloads.
Oh, yeah. I remember how you was like, this can't be good. We got to change that. I got to do one more download right now.
That's it. Yeah, I got to create an account, download, because otherwise it'd be the Devil's podcast.
You feel me?
But we're back this time with you talking. We're on the positional breakdown series, ready before we get to camp. We're on linebackers this week, so a good one to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things I like about this, which just goes to demonstrate how good a certain player we're about to speak about today, is they always say that on offense and defense, you have two key players. Offense is usually a quarterback and an offensive lineman or skill position player. Mm-hmm. Defense is usually a pass rusher and mixed in with some sort of defensive back. And without those two players on either side, everything seems to fall apart. But what I find wild is when you say, who's one of the players this team cannot be without on defense, immediately springs to mind. I go, Micah Parsons. And he's only been with the team 1 year.
Let me tell you something. It's so real about that.
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you how much we depend or we feel about Micah Parsons. nobody even speaks about injury with him because we don't want that to ever happen. So we all just stay hush about it. Just don't talk about it because you don't. So many people feel jinxes in the air. Like if you say it, the next thing you know, it happens. Like don't talk about it because honestly, fellas, let's keep it all the way real. Just how I feel about it. If something were like that to happen, and it was like a Sean Lee injury for like a whole year, bro, I'll be looking like that. Almost like make me feeling like season over.
Oh yeah,
that's how much he means.
Yeah, I agree. When you think he was third in the league in tackles for losses, people talk about the sacks and everything. For me, the linebacker position as well, most certainly, is tackles for losses. How are they on tackle for losses? He was third.
Right.
The two guys who were above him was Nick Bosa and TJ Watt.
And those are big names in the NFL.
That's what I mean.
And here's the thing: they've been in the league longer. This was his first year, and this is what I said about him maybe about a month ago. I mean, obviously everybody loves Michael Parsons. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I remember, like I said, when I first saw him, because when he was coming into the draft. He hadn't played. He sat out that COVID year. I didn't know too much about him, be very honest, until, the buzz started really getting in the air. And I heard negative things about him. So I wasn't saying no, but I wasn't saying jumping up. I wasn't jumping up and saying, But then when I said, I'm going to do my own breakdown video and watch him just myself. And I just picked a game that I wanted. And I'll be honest, when the first time I saw him in that game, I said, okay, now I see what I just, like, okay, Dallas needs to get this dude. That's what I felt instantly when I watched his first college tape game ever. Just watching, I said Dallas needs to get him. He is a difference maker. You could see it. So you got to think about this first year, right? He knew what he was doing, but he did know what he was doing. Understand? He was just so daggone good, but he's not that natural ability. He naturally morphs into pass rush moves. He naturally does it because when you see those natural athletes, it just starts happening for them naturally. Like other players, it doesn't. He's different. This is starting naturally happening because he can play any kind of positions, right? So when he does what he did this first year, fellas, a year of I know the league now. It wasn't that hard for me my first year. Now I know what the defense are trying to do to me. Now I know what to look for in offensive linemen. And man, are we serious? And I said, he wants to get the sack record. I get that, but I said, you never know. He may not have that same sack total. I said he's double-digit sack guy for the least next 5 years. He's double sack guy. Okay.
I will say this, like this was him being like a hybrid player. Like you were slitting him into defensive end, you were slitting him back into linebacker. He even played coverage. Like
you can do whatever you want with him.
He was so versatile within that defense. Like he was almost like, I can't remember what game or what play it was, but basically, essentially, I think it was maybe Anthony Brown that lost track of his man, and he had to go pick up the coverage by going back and deep, and he actually made the pass deflection on it.
I think it was the Giants game.
It might have been that game, but
it was a big play, and he blocked the ball out of the air. Because right after that, I believe we scored. So yup. And just what you're saying, Paul, not to cut you off on that, but just bouncing off you when you're saying that. We have a difference maker on defense to where he can create the turnovers, he can create the sacks, he can create the pressures to get them off the field and get that offense. That's what we have been missing since like a DeMarcus Ware. We have been missing that guy. Everybody wanted it to be DeMarcus Lawrence, okay? We all did. We all did. But he's not that guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's a different type of player. The guy we wanted was the Micah Parsons because he changes the whole game. Now, when we play teams, everybody's going to be looking for Micah Parsons, guaranteed. Now, he opens up the game like when DeMarcus Lawrence came back. DeMarcus Lawrence was a better player. You know why? Because Micah Parsons now, he makes you a better player because he's going to allow you to see single teams now. You're going to get one-on-ones. You're not going to get double team all the time because they're going to be keeping their eye on him. You see what I'm saying? So he makes the game better and easier. So that's when you know that's the great player. When he's on the field, not only is he good, he makes everybody else around him good.
That just to add on top of that as well, like, and we made the segment the week before about the defensive line, and you've got in the big boys like John Ridgway and stuff like that. Those guys can fill up two guys like for the one gap and stuff like that. And that just frees up for likes of Parsons and whoever else to do their job more effectively, like to hit those like specific targets they need to do. So I'm all for that 100%, mate. 100%.
Yeah. And you think like the athleticism, the natural athleticism is there. It's the point of attack, agility, speed, acceleration, the get off, snap anticipation. He has all of that. But then you tie that in as well with his tackling ability. We've spoken about his coverage ability and to finish plays. You know, you get into the backfield and he's got the ability to get there and complete the final bit, if you like, of that play. But what I find scary, if you like, is that you watch it and you can just see sometimes in coverage and sometimes in trying to understand where his lane is on run stopping. He can sometimes be a tick out, right? So his instincts aren't quite refined. But imagine this. Imagine the Micah Parsons we had last year. He now has a year of experience under his belt. And those instincts now are starting to sharpen and he's starting to understand it. He's got a year of working with the coaches and watching game tape. Now, all of a sudden you go, oh, now we've got the same guy, but he's a bit more football intelligent. You just go, oh, my God, what are you doing with that? That's a scary prospect.
Well, it's a scary prospect for other teams because I know one thing. I know he watches tape, and I know I could just tell by honestly, I've been around those type of athletes, not even like bragging or anything like that, but I've been around athletes like that when I coach football and just being around young guys and coaching and things like that. You see athletes like that. I've seen some kids that have come through my program where I'm like, he's just so good. My team is better just because of him. I remember when I won my championship, and I was they were 13 and 14 year olds. I won my championship, and we had a really good team. Like my son played for me, my oldest. He was a big kid, and we had a nice line. You know, I was playing a 3-4 defense, and we were really attacking side. Like I had all the pieces, but I was just missing one end. I was missing an end. And there was this one kid, man, we called him Mandel, and we called him Mandeezy because he was like, we called him like half man, half animal because he was just different. He was like bigger than all the kids, but he was the same age as everybody, but he was bigger than everybody. And he was just a natural. Like when he came out there, he was eating my dogs. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, if I could just get him, man, like that's the one kid. And I was pressing him like, you know, and then I remember he showed up on my way and like, I'm riding with you, coach. You want me to tell you how happy I was? Because he changed my whole defense, you know, just bouncing off like he changed my whole defense because now, fellas, when he got on the team, I could do so many different other things now with my defense. You get what I'm saying? And that's where Dan Quinn is excited because I have him. And in year 2, I can do so many different things with him and create so many different ever mismatches. Now I can send my guys here on this blitz and they're looking at Mike and I'm going to move Michael right over here and move this off. Okay, they're going to be pointing and boom, send this blitz right over here on this backside. Bam, got you. You get what I'm saying? When you have that type of defensive player, it just makes your defense better. And Dallas has some talent and they added more talent in this draft. So if anything, I'm excited to see. We talked about that offense last year, y'all, but it was offense. I'm excited to see Dan Quinn in year 2 with this defense.
Yes, I was just about to say that before we was a big shout out to Joe.
Yes, sir. What's up, Joe?
Watching all the way from Italy. So big shout out to you coming on our regular viewers. But yeah, like you just mentioned, like so the main piece of the puzzle, which is Dan Quinn. Like, can you imagine, like, even like I know I keep saying like with Micah Parsons, he's just going to elevate his game under Dan Quinn. But not to mention, we saw the transformation from other aspects of the ball in the defense, like from the front 4, like in terms of defensive line and the secondary, how much they improved. Can you imagine like just the overall defense is going to improve just going round under Dan Quinn in year 2? It's going to be like there's going to be high expectations for sure, right? But I don't want to be overcommitting just in case. You know, I still have that little bit of like I don't want to like pure like you know what I'm saying.
You don't want to crown them right now. We still we ain't crowning the defense. Y'all still got to get it because
you still need to earn it.
because we don't want to say let's rest on your laurels because they were doing things that Dallas hadn't done in a long time defensively, right?
Yep.
But we don't want to rest on that and say, well, what we did last year. No, we want to be better than last year. You may not get the turnovers like that, but other facets, other areas of the game, you probably want to improve. But like you said, the secondary got better, and I look at it like this. This year, what's the last time, if you look at the last few years, right? When we look at our draft, we were always talking about Dallas needed safety. Dallas needed safety. Dallas didn't get safety. Did we talk about safety this year?
No.
Because we wrapped up Curse and they got Malik Hooker. And now you finally got a combo right there where we feel good about, right? It was a long time we felt good about a combo. It was always either a free safety we needed or it's either strong. This is the first time in a long time where we got two of them and they play the positions and they are interchangeable. And you still got Donovan Wilson as the backup.
And you got Mukwano coming up as well. And the other interesting one, I know we're talking linebacker.
Sorry about that.
No. It's exciting to be a Cowboys fan and talk good about the safety position. But the one that I like is that Malik Hooker, for the first time in his NFL career, has finished the season healthy and is now coming into camp healthy.
Yes. He's going to be a big difference, especially, like we said, year 2 with Dan Quinn. He's solidified. I believe they both solidified their spots. Coming in, I think Curse is going to be even better a year or two. I just feel like, this defense, like you said, Paul, the expectations that we got to ride to these expectations because the expectation is going to go up. You can't rest on what you did last year. The expectation is going to be higher. There's going to be more asked of you. There's going to be more asked of the guys who were rookies last year of this year because a lot is going to be asked of you. A lot is going to be demanded of you. And we can't go in there slouching because I believe the defense is going to be ahead of the offense. And these first 5, 6, 7 games, those are the tough games in my opinion because I feel like that's when the schedule gets lighter. So if Dallas can kind of beat that little right there, and I feel like the defense is really going to have to turn up early.
It's kind of funny. I maybe jumping a wee bit subject, but I do have a bet on with my co-star and World's team, Meg Murray. Said first of all, we need to win week 1 against the Bucs. We cannot let Tom Brady become undefeated in AT&T. So
I feel you, but
I'm
with you, James. I know where you're going.
Well, I'm saying we're going to win it, but anyway, sorry.
I hear you. I'm gonna just say I hear you.
But you're right though. Like the first 5, 6, 7 weeks is without a doubt the hardest on our schedule, and it's going to be a credit to how the team is going to overcome those games. Like Green Bay at Lambeau, that's going to be a really difficult game, and those can especially just Rodgers right now. Like, how are you going to deal with him?
You know what? I'm tired of Rodgers. That's the game now. If you said Tampa Bay, we was beating them. I said we were beating Green Bay. I said that one. I said we were going. Yeah, I said we're going into Lambeau and we are beating them. We're slaying that dragon. I said we were supposed to slay them last year, but Dallas was tripping and messed it all up by losing to the Niners. So hopefully we get it together. But that's the day we're going to get in there. We're going to beat Green Bay, and that defense is going to be all over Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, you think Green Bay have lost a lot of pieces this year, central pieces, especially on the offense. When you think what they've lost, so that they are very beatable this year. But I was going to say though, in terms of the scheduling, we gone wayward, but it doesn't matter. In terms of the scheduling, I've looked at it and I've gone, if the Cowboys go 0-2, I'm not that, but it's like.
Yeah, I'm not.
Most people who go 0-2 and you're like, oh, there we go, that's it. For me, 0-2 is absolutely meaningless this season.
I'll be okay. I mean, I wouldn't be like end of the world season's over because it's a long season and that schedule changes at the end of the year. You just gotta
Thanksgiving,
you just gotta get it together. And I think it will be okay. Like I said. We're getting ready to talk about these linebackers because I don't want to go crazy with it. But I said 12-5 regardless. Again, I said if you look at the schedule, I came with a 12-5 again, just looking at it because I know we can beat a lot of those teams.
I think that was roughly about my same estimation. It was 12-5 or it was 11-6.
Yeah.
I think it was definitely above 10, but I'll need to double check what was my because me and Meg did an in-depth show of going through week by week who we think we're going to win, who we think we're going to lose to.
Right.
So I'll need to double check on that, and then I'll put it up on Twitter.
Yeah, sure. 12 and 5, and certainly when you get to Thanksgiving and beyond that, you just look at it and you go, "Oh yeah," and it's like even like okay,
That's
and like
I like it. I like it, Joe.
You even look at like Lambeau, for instance, a hard place to go and win. But the good news is you're playing them before it gets too cold, and you look at the Cowboys scheduling. It's dome stadiums towards the end. The open stadiums are earlier, so it all plays in your favor. It's exactly how you would want to do it. So,
I agree with that.
Yeah, but bringing it back, we'll try and bring it back anyway to the linebacker position. Obviously, we're talking about Micah Parsons. We do as well. While we look at this, we lost Keanu Neal, Francis Bernard, which is Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith, we lost, as we all know, in that crazy move that they did. And we've already lost Devontae Bond. He's gone on IR with a knee injury. Now, Penn State, Micah Parsons, taken first round last year, defensive rookie of the year. Third in tackle for loss, 6 in sacks, 3.8 million this year on the cap. Pretty much certain we're all happy with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Micah Parsons, I think he's going to be maybe not if he has another stellar season, I can actually see year 3, he's like captain of the defense. He'll take that from DeMarcus Lawrence.
It wouldn't that surprise me if he becomes a captain halfway during the season, like honorary captain of that certain games and stuff like that, because I'm pretty sure you can switch it up, I'm pretty sure, for certain game situations.
I mean, to me, I know DeMarcus Lawrence wants to be that guy. I'm not in that locker room, but to me, Micah Parsons was that guy. Just kind of like when Dez Bryant got on the team and he was that guy.
Yeah,
we had Roy Williams, we had those other receivers, but you knew Dez was that guy. You knew it.
And there's one word to describe him: dog. Both of these guys are
dog.
dogs.
You feel me?
Dog.
And DeMarcus Lawrence, like I said, he's nice, but Micah Parsons a dog. So you feel me? If we talking about, like I said, the leader of the defense is him.
Yeah,
period.
I agree.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, because like we did the pass rushes last week, and some people were like, "Oh, you're not including Micah Parsons," and I get it because you can. But Mike McCarthy actually came out in the offseason and made a comment. They were like, "Well, boss, what is Mike? Is he a linebacker, defensive end?" And he said, "What I like is that because some people are doing the addition by subtraction thing, so that he's not a linebacker, he's not a defensive end, so he's neither." And it's like, well, no, he isn't. Look at it the other way around. He is both. And Mike McCarthy said that. He was like, and they were like, and Mike McCarthy said it. He was like, as an offensive guy, if I've got that guy opposite me, he's my biggest headache. And he came out and said it. He was like, I'm not going to pin him to one position because that's more valuable than him being a really good linebacker on its own.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fact. Like I said, he's a different player. When you get a different type of player, especially when you have the measurables, there's players that probably have some really good ability, but they're only like 5'11" or 6 foot. This dude has everything you want: 6'3", 245. 4.3 speed. You get what I'm saying? Like he has everything. He's like that perfect type player that you can do anything with. So why in the heck would you pigeonhole him and just say, well, let's put him at defensive end and let him rush the passer? No, because he can drop in coverage. He can rush the passer. He can make stops. No, I'm going to move him around everywhere. I'm going to look where weak links are. If I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm having a field day knowing I have him in my hip pocket every time, because I can look at matchups. I can identify who is the weak link and have put let's say I got D-Law right here. He's going against a weak end. I can put Micah right next to him. Now what y'all going to do? I got Micah and D-Law coming in. We can stunt you. You feel me? You don't know where they're coming. So now you're focusing on them. Osa Okadazua, somebody up the middle comes hit you. Bam, you feel me? That's the whole purpose. And like I said, that's what I'm so excited about Micah Parsons, because we finally have a guy that I've been wanting us to get, some like the Nick Bosas and the TJ Watt. I've been wanting us to get a guy like that, and now we have him. So let's work and let's cook.
Just one more thing to add to the compliments of Micah Parsons. It's like one thing one of my biggest things about, like, just in general, it was our defense was in terms of forcing players out of bounds without gaining up as much yards for, like, we saw how much of a threat when Parsons is moving laterally to the sideline, forcing players to go outside. It's like they're not gaining like 5 or 6 yards; they're gaining maybe a yard. That's it.
Yeah.
Like players are afraid to kind of like they're trying to force themselves out without trying to get hit, and that just shows the character of what Parsons can do in the field of bringing that dominance and that.
And to coincide with that as well, another thing that like one of the things I look at as well in linebackers is with the tackling. You know, you get tackling momentum. So a running back's coming at you, and they hit the linebacker, and the linebacker makes the tackle, but the running back has got that momentum where it will carry him 1 or 2 yards. But you don't find that much with Micah Parsons. He doesn't give up that much momentum.
Yeah, and in physics, you would tend to find the linebacker comes out worse.
yeah, which is why they get injured so often. But yeah, I mean, you find he doesn't give up that much momentum. And the other thing in terms of his run defense, is a comment I always like to make, and you know this one, big game, James, from coaching, is with linebackers, you always tell them in run defense, go slow until you know. So it's just shuffling your feet, trying to get the right lane, and then once you see it, attack. And he's already doing that at a rookie stage. And because he's got such quick closing speed and range, it's just so immediate. I think that's perhaps maybe why running backs don't get much tackling momentum out of Micah, because he's up there so quick. So the running back hasn't got that much time to gain enough momentum to push him over. And it's crazy to watch. And for a rookie doing that, and another thing as well, he can hit a home run.
Man. Like I said,
did you see that? Did you see that in the home run derby?
but like I said, I wasn't surprised at anything, because I believe he's the type of player can play any sport, because he's just one of those. He's one of those rare athletes that can pretty much do anything. And you don't find those type of players. They're rare. That's why they call them rare. Because they're not everyday players. So Dallas got blessed. A lot of people were, down on the pick when they picked him as the rookie. Dallas really got blessed right there, because he's going to be number one. He's going to command a lot of money when his contract is up. But he's going to be the highest paid player for real.
Definitely. And when you think as well, he's going to be asking for his contract around about the time just after Trayvon Diggs has his.
Whoa. Man,
that's
gonna be tough, dog. Hey, if you look, I said, look, I went on my Twitter, but I said, listen, Cowboys got to win a Super Bowl in Micah Parsons and Trevin Diggs rookie contracts. I said they got to win that Super Bowl before them contract comes up, because we know how Stephen Jones is with it, and we know that money is going to cost, and that could change the whole dynamic of the team. So that's why you got to win on those rookie contracts. That's why you got to win when they're in those very first 4 years, because they get expensive after that, and teams tend to break up, and then you may have to start over in aspects, and you don't want to do that.
Definitely, yeah.
That's a great point.
I mean, we could literally do, and we've talked half of the show on one guy. And we could do an entire show on Micah. Oh, definitely.
Sorry. Love you, Micah.
No. I mean, it's Micah. We could literally just have done the positional breakdown series and just put this one as Micah Parsons, and you'd be able to fill an entire show on it. But let's look at the next guy, which is Leighton Vander Esch.
Okay.
The Wolf Hunter. So he wasn't given his 5th-year option. They instead let him go test the market, tested, come back. He's on a 1-year contract. Which is worth about $2 million on the cap this year.
Does that contract not? Sorry, Mike. Does that contract not actually work better for us rather than the 5th-year option?
No, it does.
So again, talking about bloody salary cap. But anyway, I wasn't too sure, because I didn't know that was like more of a cap save more than anything.
Yeah, the 5th-year option all depends on number of snaps a player takes and Pro Bowl, and Pro Bowls that they go to, and because he made one, but he had less than a certain amount of snaps, he was going to get something around about the $6 million mark. But what I like about Leighton Vander Esch, there was the injury concerns with him, which was what he was like at Boise. That was coming out of, we drafted him in the first round, and one of the things was the neck injuries. But last year he seemed to start off slow, but as the season progressed, he was getting a little bit more confident, not so much worried about the injuries, and he was seeing like old Leighton Van. I know it's weird to say old when we drafted him in 2018, but you were seeing old or original rookie Leighton Vander Esch coming out as the season wore on.
Yeah, I mean, you were starting to see the best glimpses of LVE at the tail part end of that season. He was making like not many people were talking about him and for there's no many bad reasons to talk about because he wasn't really making much mistakes in the tail end of that season. He was filling in the position. He was making the assisted tackles. He was making the tackles when he needed. But it may have not been as the solo tackles or anything like that. But he was still contributing. He was still helping our run defense. I mean, what more could you ask for? He was basically being like that silent assassin. You just don't see his name wasn't getting sprung up all the time, but he was there and he was making plays.
Yeah, but I mean, just to reiterate your point that, and the point I was making as the season wore on. So week 9 against Denver. So before then, he's making
let's not talk about that game.
I know it's a bad one to bring up, but this was the game really for me where Leighton sprung it on. And all you got to do is just look at the tackle numbers, and he's 2 tackles a game, 4 tackles a game, 3 the Denver game kicks in 9 tackles in that game, and all of a sudden you're seeing this coming along, and his missed tackle rate starts to go down as well. So you see him missed tackles at the start of the season, 22%, 16%, and that's a lot. Then all of a sudden, Denver game, 0%. And then he goes 0%, 0%, 0%, 0%, 20%. And for me, linebackers, you want them to be around the 10%. I don't know what you think on this, James, but 10% for a linebacker missed tackles, I can live with. Anything more than that is a worry. And he was beyond that with the start of the season. But as the season goes on, all of a sudden he's on no missed tackles. And you're just like, oh, that's really good.
Right.
Sorry, James. I just came into my thought. When did we release Jalen Smith?
Literally the start of the season.
It was like what, the first 3-4 games.
I'm just wondering, with Van Der Esch now adjusting to a different role within the linebacker with Jalen not there and stuff like that, he felt more comfortable being in that position. It took him that time to week 9 to really get himself established. I'm just wondering if that may have been the situation with us, that he was basically being played out of position pretty much those past couple of years, and that's why he's been getting out of those injuries. I don't know if that's just something you guys find as well.
Yeah, so Jalen Smith had 4 games under his belt.
Yeah, right. 4 games.
That's 4 games. Week 4.
Yeah, I think it was a situation. Also, honestly, getting Neville Gallimore back.
Yeah,
we had rookies in the middle. Osa was playing a lot in that middle, playing a lot of that one tech. Remember, I don't know when Brent Urban went out with the bicep injury. Put a lot more stress in. Yeah, that really hurt. And then we just had Carlos Watkins really man in the middle, and Bohanna snaps were going down. So, Tristan Hill. So it was really rotating Tristan Hill, Osa. So that took a lot of stress on the defense. And so they couldn't really, keep Lander LVE free. And I think once Gallimore got back in there, Gallimore really helped that middle where he was taking a lot of that double teams, and it was freeing LVE, and his instincts started to kick in. He started being able to make some plays at the line of scrimmage, and he started getting better in coverage. Yeah, and I think it was also getting familiar with Dan Quinn's defense and what Dan Quinn kind of wanted specifically from LVE. And I think one of the reasons why he probably came back is didn't have the best year. Did show I was prove I could be healthy, and now let me show another year where I could be healthy. Another year in year 2 with Dan Quinn. He's going to be a starter, so it's not like LVE is a bad player. And I think for what the Cowboys brought him back and not costing a lot of money, that was a bargain thing, and you still have talent with it. I think that's okay.
Yeah, and because it's not much and it's a 1-year deal, you've got that opportunity to go, right, okay, Late, we've seen something coming along.
Show us what you can do.
Yeah.
So prove it again.
And if you do, we'll give you that bigger contract. Let's bring it all back together again. And it's ironic as well that, I'm just piggybacking off what you were saying, because as you were talking, I was checking. Neville Gallimore came back week 14. So that coincides with when Leighton started playing better. But
he was
another
really
thing,
playing good.
yeah, but another thing that's important to notice, because it just, as I was going through it, I was having a look, Carlos Watkins. So he started the season off slow, and as the season progressed, he got better, which then obviously is something that's helping Leighton better, because you keep it clean. You know, the more you can keep the outside of that line clean, the easier it is for those linebackers to move freely and do their job.
Yeah, make plays. That's the whole point of that front line. That's why you want to get those big 340-pound guys in that middle playing your one or your zero tech, because they hold up that middle. Their job, you know, they're not going to get a lot of high sack rate, but that's not what you draft them for. When you got those guys that plug in the middle, their job is to plug and hold that line, get to hold that guard, hold that tackle, and open the door up. Ray Lewis said himself when they were struggling a little bit with the Ravens, he said, well, the reason why we're struggling, you need to give me some big people up front. You give me some big people up front, we ain't going to struggle no more. They went out there and got Ugly Nada. They got the Goose. They got guys in the middle that kept Ray and them flee and clean. And guess what? He was back being dynamic. He was back blowing up plays because now, you know, his instincts can take over. When it's hard for a linebacker, when they can throw down your defensive tackle and they're already come second level to you, and you got to shed that block while you got running backs and everybody else attacking you. That's why you get those big guys, and that's why Bohanna and those other guys, Ridgeway and those guys, are going to have to be huge up front because it's going to make it easier for the linebacking core.
Yeah, and here's something as well, and I'll let you chip in, Paul, and we'll finish on Leighton Vander Esch. The only thing I wanted to add was about the release of Jalen Smith, how that affected Leighton Vander Esch. And I know this can be a controversial subject to talk about Jalen Smith because the room will always be divided on it. But for me, the thing that when I look at Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch, I almost see identical players. They're very, very similar in their skill sets and what they do. But what I like now is when you think of Micah Parsons, Leighton Vander Esch, Jabril Cox, which we'll come on to in a minute, they're three completely different type linebackers. And because they're different, that helps Leighton Vander Esch out. And I just think the different types, you know, like a basketball team, you want a range of different types of body type and athletic profiles, because then that helps all those different players out because they're harder to understand what they're trying to accomplish.
You want to take this one first, James?
No, go ahead. I want to hear what you guys say.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been critical of Jalen. There's been some times where he was absolutely magical on the field. Sometimes I just was downright, what the hell was he thinking? For example, hitting the wrong gaps and stuff like that, and that caused a lot more confusion for the rest of the team, and that's why things fall apart. When one person falls, the rest of the team falls under that umbrella pretty much. So I don't know where, but for me, when you're saying the comparison between him and Vander Esch, I don't really see it. I do see them as they do have the somewhat different.
The type of profile, type of player that they are is what I mean, you know?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm looking at Jalen Smith, I feel like, my opinion, I feel like they're two different players because I feel like Jalen Smith is just like he doesn't really have that what he had at Notre Dame. When he had that injury, it really just changed his whole game. It really ended it for him. Let's just be honest. When we love what he did, for real, we never seen a player come back and do that. So you're never disrespecting the player, but we all knew that type of injury, you're never going to be the player you were before.
Absolutely.
And in that aspect, he's not like LVE because LVE doesn't have that type of an injury, and he can do more type of things on the field than a Jalen Smith because he can't move that sideline to sideline. LVE can do that. LVE can attack and do those things. The only problem I've ever had with LVE, and this is when I saw when he was at Boise State, he had those same problems of getting off blocks when he was in college. That's one of the things I noticed. I even made a video about it and said those specific things, that if he's having problems with offensive linemen in the big whatever conference it was, not a bad conference, but it wasn't like the Alabamas and the Georgias and those guys. If he's having problems with those guys, then he's going to have trouble with the guys in the NFL. And that started his warts. Those started really showing how he was having problems. And even now, he still has those issues. So that's why we got to have that front keeping him clean, because that's when LVE is effective.
Ironically, go on, but I'll chip in and then let you finish, Paul. I was just going to say the Boise State way. That's what you're talking about. I mentioned that on this show, that the Boise State way, when you look at it, is that they don't teach them, they don't coach them to take on blocks. It's more to how to avoid and to shed blocks. And I think that's why you're seeing that now with Leighton Vander Esch. He's never been taught how to do it.
Just another thing as well, when you're putting the link between Jalen and Vander Esch, right? When Jalen got released, that must have lit up a fire in Leighton for sure, to say, definitely. Okay, it's like, it could be me next. I could be like,
I am next.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. He was next in line, because obviously he had he wasn't getting renewed. He knew he had to step up, which he did. So, yeah, that's just something I just want to add on at the end there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, that's Leighton Vander Esch. For me, right, of all the players that are like you're wanting them to come on, but also a player who didn't make the Pro Bowl last year and is likely to make it this year. That player, for me, the most likely player is Leighton Vander Esch. That's the guy I'm pinning on.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
So let's look at the Cornhuskers linebacker that we got here before we get on to the LSU guys. Luke Gifford, undrafted free agent in 2019. He's been given a 1-year contract this year that's worth 1.1 on the cap. I went back and checked 40 snaps since he's been with the Cowboys on defense. The rest have all been on special teams. Really, for me, Luke Gifford is our safety blanket until Jabril Cox is up to speed. I don't know what you guys think.
I don't know about that. I think we'll see. I don't know what Luke Gifford is now. I think his first year, he's a tricky one, because his first year I was like, I like Luke. I was out there at training camp. I was like, who's this dude? He was showing. Those injuries kind of just racked him up a little bit those first couple of years. He kind of behind the 8 ball. Now he does some great on special teams. I think he had 2 blocked punts. He was great on special teams.
He is,
but I wouldn't want to play him if you needed him. Like I think he's not. I think he's a career backup.
Yeah, rotation.
I think he's just a career backup. He was undrafted. I think they were trying to see what they had in him. We were all excited, but I think we found out what he really is. And I just hope Jabril Cox can come up there and get ready, because I really don't want to have Luke Gifford out there on the field. I just don't feel like he's a guy if he's in a starting rotation.
Yeah, because what I find ironic is they give him a 1-year deal on a year they take on, and we speak about Jabril Cox next, but they give him a 1-year deal in the year that we're really going to have to redshirt Damone Clark,
right?
The guy we've taken. So they kind of like, as Luke Gifford, you're sitting there thinking, okay, I see where the writing's on the wall on this one, but there we go. Let's talk, though, about the next guy we're excited to talk about, Jabril Cox, LSU. 4th round pick in 2021, an absolute steal.
Absolutely.
$1 million on the cap this year. Had the nasty ACL injury quite early in the season. And at the time, I was just like, oh, well, not Jabril Cox. As the season wore on, I was like, we really need Jabril Cox. And this year now, we're like, we really need Jabril Cox. The good news is that he is going to be ready for camp. And not only is he going to be ready for camp, they say that, they're going to be taking it easy with him, that he is going to be playing week 1. That's what I asked the question. They were like, against Tampa, he will be playing. That's how confident they feel. Do you know what I like about Jabril Cox? And I don't know what you guys think. He is the future of the linebacker position. This is how I see all linebackers moving into this, that free-ranging off-ball type linebacker. What do you think about Jabril Cox, though, Big Game James? We've never got your opinion on him yet.
I love Jabril Cox. Now, when I did a video on him, when he was coming out of LSU, I did a video of him when he played at North Dakota State. Because one of the things that I said that I loved everything about him, but I didn't like that he didn't tackle. I didn't like that he wasn't physical with tackling. He wouldn't go in there and make tackles. And, you know,
We've already seen that.
Yeah, you feel me? So I wanted to keep an eye on that going into the pros. Now, we were seeing a little bit of it, but I saw him put more effort in there, and I was getting excited about that. You know, I saw potential even when he was playing in those preseason games. And you love the size, 6'4", 231 pounds, and you know he can play multiple positions. He played safety in high school, and he played a little bit when he was at North Dakota State. So he's a guy that can play multiple, and you love him in coverage. I think what we're all frustrated about is like, right when we wanted to start, when Dan Quinn could really start sprinkling in Jabril Cox, like we saw him in the Giants, and we were all like, ooh, we can't wait to see him next week, sprinkling him in more, and then bam, the ACL. So I think that's what was happening because we saw him slowly grasping it. You know what I mean? We saw the slow climb, and we were getting excited like, ooh, if he can start getting in a lot more games, dog, that defense really going to be nice. So I think that's what I like about Jabril Cox, because Micah Parsons is always, we already know what he's going to do. Yeah. But add a Jabril Cox in there, man, that's
a completely different place.
That's exciting now, because now you can do all kind of things with your defense. You know what I mean? You can do multiple things, and that's the only thing that would hurts me about Damone Clark, because if Damone Clark was healthy, I made a tweet about this, because when you got Micah Parsons, Damone Clark, and Jabril Cox as your three linebackers, now you're cooking.
Because especially when you think Jabril Cox and Damone Clark are going to be really those pure off-ball linebackers.
They play with each other.
Exactly. And then, you know, you throw in the fact as well, say Damone Clark next year, and they decide to keep LVE there. Now you've got that will type linebacker, two off-ball linebackers you can play around with. Micah Parsons doing his thing. And think of, like, you know, it's nickel defense nowadays. So there's two linebackers you're going to be putting in there on rotation. It's just like you say, with Damone Clark in there as well. It's an evil experience that you're going to see over there.
If I'm a defensive coordinator like Dan Quinn, I'm just like in the lab, like, oh, just rubbing my hands, like, oh, I can't wait to do
packages
this. Really, you know, like, I'm gonna do so many things against this offense. I'm gonna attack them in so many ways. And it's been a long time, fellas, since we could say that about our defense, that we can just really attack teams now. We were always being attacked. We were always, you know, third, fourth quarter wearing down, giving up the big points or the big first down or touchdown at the end of the game. And now we feel better because now we have a defense that can score points. We have a defense that can attack you. We can get sacks. We can get turnovers. And that's a good feeling because offense is great, but you're going to need that defense to carry you, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about, it's a nice segue here. Damone Clark, again, LSU, taken in the 5th round last year, 2022, $760K on the cap this year. But he does come with a whole menagerie of injuries, some of them quite serious, which are going to put him out. And ironically, the one injury he had was like literally right at the combine, where they were just like, yeah, you've got this really crazy spinal neck injury going on here. Which, because for me, Damone Clark could have very well been, without the injuries, maybe a 2nd round talent. And like a lot of people were worrying during the draft, during this draft, they were saying, I don't know, I'm not so sure about this. Talbot was, a nice piece, but for me, Damone Clark was a big tick in the box, really, for what they've done. What do you guys both like about Damone Clark once we managed to get him rotated in?
Go ahead, Paul.
I mean, I only saw the wee bits and clips of Damone Clark, I'll be perfectly honest with you. But from what I saw, man, it's like, this guy can hit. Guy can hit.
He's fast.
Dude. Like, when we're talking about like having like the Parsons and Clark and Jabril Cox in there, like, it sounds like music to my bloody ears. Like, it literally, like, when you talk about wide receiver cores out there, like talking about like you had like your Des, like your triplet, like all these wide receiver cores in the NFL. When have you ever heard of a linebacker core? It sounds so terrifying. You know what I mean? Like when you really put that package together. So when it comes to Damon Clark, I just hope with this, like it was neck injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I just hope that can get
quite serious too. Quite serious.
Yeah, so, and it required like quite a fair bit of surgery on it, didn't it?
Yeah.
So,
and that's just the tip of the iceberg, really, in terms of his injury history.
But one thing I do like about him as well is his football IQ. From what I could see from the small limited clips I saw of him, like he's a very intelligent player. Like he's like his readability of how the play's going to play out is really exceptional.
He is an FBI linebacker, pure FBI linebacker.
Yeah. See, thing I love about Damon Clark, like I said, I did a breakdown video on him. After he was drafted, I got to see him in the Senior Bowl. Before the injury bug kind of went and hit him. And I'll be honest, I was doing some shows and I was talking about a lot of other linebackers, and I had known about Damon Clark, but I wasn't really on him like that. But I had my guy named Jane Labardi. Shout out to him. He kept telling me, "Big game, you need to check out this dude named Damon Clark, bro. You need to check out this dude named Damon Clark. I'm telling you, dog, he the truth. He the truth." So I was like, "All right, man, I'm just gonna watch him one time because you keep telling me about him." So I went out there and I watched him. I said, "Okay, I see why you keep telling me about this dude." And then I kind of kept my ear to him, and then I watched him in the Senior Bowl, and I was like, okay, instinctual, great size, instinctual, a leader, high tackle guy, like 115 tackles. Like he's going to get you a lot of tackles. He's a good sideline to sideline guy. Still continue to get better in coverage. With the breakdown video I did on him was against UCLA. One of the biggest things I took from that game was I think he had like 8 or 9 tackles, but the Olsen kid that was the tight end that Dallas was kind of I can't remember, not Olsen, but Dallas was targeting a tight end from UCLA this past season. I mean, in this draft. You know who I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
It's some kind of weird name, but he was nice from UCLA, right?
I'll look it up right now.
Look it up, but you know what I'm talking about, though, Paul, right?
Yeah.
So he caught a pass, right, and he caught it, and he
shot Rich.
Yeah. That's his name. Yeah. So he caught it. He caught one over the middle, like he caught about the 50-yard line, right? Clark was like the 20. Dulwich, So he did a quick move on the defender from LSU and skirted. And Dulwich ain't slow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he dipped and Clark hawked him down. Now he didn't get the tackle. He tackled him in the end zone, but that resonated to me. And to this day, I still haven't forgot it because he had a good 30-yard head start on him. He didn't even have to track him down like that because he wasn't going to catch him, but he hawked it right down the middle. He hawked him down, made the tackle at the end, and that stood out to me because I said, that's the type of players I want on my team. Because if you get those type of players with that effort and they have the ability, when you get them around the Jabril Coxes and the Michael Parsons of the world.
Yeah.
Just to add on top of it as well, but see when you've got the leader, which is going to be Michael Parsons to help elevate Jabril Cox, your Devin Clarks, and everybody else. Just to think about how the elevation of those players' mentalities are going to be even more, and under Dan Quinn, it's just like it just comes around full circle once again. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember as well, in the off season, me and Brian were doing the prospect project, and we would take a position and look at a number of plays. Damon Clark was one of them, and he said, "What's a one word you use for him?" And I'll still use it now. Is blur. Like when you watch him on the screen, I remember there was one play, and I forget who it was against. It was against an SEC team, and he was chasing down the running back, and he wasn't on the screen. The camera's on the running back, as it does. It's on that angle. There's no Damon Clark out of nowhere, and I thought my screen had frozen. Like it gone from one frame to another, but it frozen in the stream. It wasn't. It was just that he was that quick. He came around the line and brought the running back for a loss, and he wasn't even on the screen at the time. That's how quick he is. Like, he's just a blur. It's going to be exciting, like you say. They are talking somewhat that
was it the Auburn game by any chance, Mike? Was it the Auburn game?
Were they wearing white? I can't remember.
Could be Mississippi State. They do wear white.
I'm trying to remember what color jersey they were wearing. I watched so much game tape. I can't remember. I'll try and find it, and I'll find it for you because it was crazy. I can remember watching it. It'll be on my draft board because I put all the notes in there. But it is a crazy thing. And as I was just saying, Damon Clark, they are saying that there's a possibility he could start halfway through the season. And, with the new rules and regulations on players on IR that you can bring so many back, 4 weeks and all the rest of it. So it's a possibility. I don't see it myself, but we'll have to wait and see. But let's talk about the last guy that they drafted this year. Devin Harper, Oklahoma State, 6th round, $750K on the cap. I got back and had a look. I understand what they've done here with this pick, but I don't know what you think, James, on this guy. I look at everything and I'm just like, okay, it's an end of day 3 pick, but he needs to work on a lot. Like he's not strong, he's not fast, he gets flat-footed, he struggles at the point of attack, and he tries to arm tackle a lot. So I'm just like, he needs to work on a lot. But I get what they've done because this is a guy you can have as a linebacker to go do some kick coverage on special teams for now. Mm-hmm. But what do you think about Devin Harper?
Practice squad, if that.
Yeah, that's exactly what
that's all I'm saying about Devin Harper. Practice squad. I don't care how much they hype up some Devin Harper. He is not seeing the field. And if Devin Harper is seeing the field, Dallas is in trouble.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, like, I thought maybe kick coverage on special teams.
If that.
Yeah, but do you really want to carry a guy and that's all he's going to be doing? You want a guy like that to be doing more than one thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially, go on. I know you're going to say something, Paul.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, when you're talking about, like, so the number of guys we've just mentioned tonight, like your Parsons, Cox, Clark, LVE, now Harper, and that, we've only covered, 5-6 players? And when you really think about it in terms of, like, the rotation and depth for linebackers, do we still have enough for our linebacker core? Do we still do we need to bring maybe one more guy for rotation?
Yeah, I've been saying that.
Yeah, and that's the trouble because the linebacker, and
especially with the injuries, Clark, like obviously Clark's going to be redshirt this year, so we're down a guy already. So we will need to bring someone in just to get rotation. I mean, look what happened during training camp. We brought Hooker in from during training camp.
Halfway through.
So it wouldn't surprise me that it might be the case. Someone might get released from another team, and we might bring them in. So
it should be the case though, Paul, because I said on my Twitter that 2 of the positions that I think need to be looked at are wide receiver and linebacker as far as depth, because I'm concerned about that because we're talking about receivers. If you have a CD Lamb go down, Dallas in trouble. You know what I mean? Because Michael Gallup's not going to be playing right now, so they're going to be looking real bad. So we're banking a lot. And on the linebacking core, it's thin. We're one injury away from being in dire straits, so they need to go ahead and get that vet. I've been screaming Anthony Barr since down there December. Go get the dude. I mean, people are like, oh, he can't do it, man, dude. The dude can still play like he missed like 5-6 games and still has 75 tackles down almost, had 3 interceptions. He's still a viable option. He played with the coaching staff prior. He got good size that you like, and he's a veteran. That's what you need. So if you have a guy going down, are we really worrying about a Devin Harper or somebody, a guy named Stoney, I don't even know, Jackson from Liberty, who, you know what I mean? I don't want to rely on nothing like that. I want to rely, if you're talking about keeping this season afloat and not missing a beat, that's what needs to happen. You need to get a veteran in here because are we trying to win a Super Bowl? Or we trying to just develop players? They try and win a Super Bowl. They need to get that veteran in here because he has the experience and can keep the team afloat. If there's an injury that goes down, you feel more confident.
And the other added thing as well with getting more linebackers, or linebacker at least, is when you think as well, special teams traditionally, or not traditionally, but because of the makeup of the athletic profile of linebackers, they make up the bulk of your special teams. If you don't have linebackers on your special team, the next place you're going to is wide receivers. So like you just said, the 2 places we're thinnest, linebacker and wide receiver, the last place you want injuries to happen, and you're going to have to rotate one positional group to another and hope that no injuries happen along the way. So that's my piece on that. But go on, Paul.
I was just trying to say, like, we're talking about like some of the other players that we could bring in. Like, there was obviously you mentioned Anthony Barmy. What about the other Anthony we could talk about? Former Dallas Cowboy player Anthony Hitchens.
Yeah.
That's
Super Bowl winning.
I mean, he's 30 years old, but he can still probably provide one year hat just to help within the rotation of the squad,
like in that Mike linebacker type role.
Yeah, and he knows the team. Like maybe not obviously won't know the system because it's different to defensive coordinator, but you'll know the Dallas Cowboys mentality in terms of like what's expected from the organization. So it could be word for thought. So
yeah, I see where you're going. It's not a bad way to go. All right, but we'll look at the last two undrafted free agents. We just touched on Story Jackson, which we'll come to in a minute. But we'll look at Texas A&M's. That's right, baby. Aaron Hansford, undrafted free agent, $700K on the cap. So one of the things I made a note of was Bond, obviously, as we spoke about, has gone out on IR. It was really a battle between Aaron and Bond about trying to maybe get a practice squad position. With Bond gone, it really opens the door up for Aaron. He's a fast type guy. He's not pure athletic. You could say that that's the one thing he needs to build on the most. But he can tackle. He can get those tackles in. I think it's really between the two linebackers at this stage, Hansford and the guy we just spoke about, Devin, about really who is going to get possibly, because the linebacker position is so thin, that spot where they can play on special teams and be a special teams contributor and be a linebacker if they need it. I think that's really all you can say about the two.
I like Hansford. I don't think he would play or anything like that, but they had another guy from Texas A&M the year before who they liked. He was a linebacker, and I liked him too. I cannot remember his name, but he was a linebacker too, and he was undrafted. And he got hurt. What was his name? He got hurt in a preseason game, and they had to let him go due to an injury settlement. I think he went to the Rams. But I liked him, and I thought he could keep him on the practice squad, and you could do something with him. Hansford
kind of on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah. I know Paul's looking it up. Paul's looking it up. I see him ticking. Paul's looking it up. But
I got you.
So what was his name, Paul?
Just trying to find it up just now. So the undrafted free agent marker from 2021.
So he was actually ahead of Hansford.
Anthony Hines.
Anthony Hines.
Yeah.
He's a guy I liked last year on the practice squad. I said keep an eye on him, and they liked him, but he got hurt, and they had to let him go. So he was ahead of Hansford at Texas A&M, and so when I think he sat out the COVID year and kind of opened the door for Hansford. Hansford looked good. I like his size. He's not a physical linebacker, but he's an athletic linebacker. He can cover like you were talking about. And I like that. And I think he has a chance. And I think if, the Cowboys put him on that practice squad, let him develop, keep him on the low, keep an eye on Aaron Hansford. I think he could do some things, not this year, but maybe down the line.
Yeah, you need really the big things is he needs to get in the gym.
Yeah, he needs to get bigger. He's not strong.
Yeah, no, not at all. And like when you think in some of the games you were watching last year, he was like losing. He was, getting pushed off the ball quite easily, and you just think, right, okay, if he's not doing that in college, what makes you think where it gets bigger in the NFL, he's going to do it there? So get him in the gym and work him up a bit, and then we'll see what we get out the other side. And then the last guy then is Story Jackson from Liberty. I mean, I tried to find some information on him when it came up that we got this guy as a UDFA. All I can say is he's from Liberty. He's quite a short guy. He's classed as a tweener. And that was about it. So I don't know what you guys have got on Story. All I'm saying is that I unless something comes up from camp and he catches my eye, I don't really see what he's going to do.
Well, he looks extremely athletic. I will say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's athletic. He's got some good athletic traits. Once again, you have to see because you can keep more people on the practice squad now.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's a good thing. and let's just see how he does in camp.
Yeah.
Those undrafted guys, I don't really put too much stock. But this year, I mean, I can't say this. This was a good undrafted free agent class for the Dallas Cowboys, a very good one. And I think they're going to push some guys out there, especially guys who were on the roster last year that were drafted lower. They're going to be pushing them guys. So don't be surprised if you see one of those guys maybe take the other guy's spot, maybe get the practice squad and they get released. We'll see, but it'll be some good competition. So I'm kind of like you, Mike. Let me kind of see it in training camp.
Just to add, sorry, Mike, just on top of that for Story Jackson, he actually won the award for the Buck Buchanan Award. Well, he's a finalist for it. For Defensive Player of the Year. And so that was back in back in 2021. So he's so people are talking about him regardless. So for him being a free agent, so at least there's something that he can bring. So
and Liberty are that type of quite a physical in the box type team. But the only thing I was going to say, mind you, James, you mentioned about the Cowboys undrafted free agent. It came up that they give points scores on players in the undrafted free agent market, and the Cowboys have been first for the last 4 years.
Well, they definitely are good in that. Those scouts are good as far as getting those undrafted players. Will McClay, they do their homework, and I mean, let's keep it real. That's what keeps the Cowboys afloat for real.
Yeah. It was something that came out. I think CBS do the rank. Is it CBS? Either CBS or ESPN.
Probably,
they do a ranking.
Probably.
Yeah, and they give scores to all the players. Just like they would do in the draft, like a scouting score. And whatever player goes to the market, they tote up all those players, and the Cowboys are always first with the most points, and they have been for the last 4 years. Just thought I'd throw that little fact in for you.
Well, that's good. Hey, like I said, I like that.
Yeah. So and the only thing really that I think we're missing in terms of competition now is the kickers, but we get to that in a few weeks' time because there's only 2 more shows of season 3, and you were. Look at that. You were on one of the last few shows of season 3 with us, James.
Nice.
See how that works? So we got cornerbacks next week, then safeties, and then that's it. And we're on to season 4, and it's all on to training camp, Oxnard. Are you going to Oxnard this year, James?
Yes, I am. We're supposed to be down there, God willing, because we're about to take care of some things right now with it. But we should be there like the last few, maybe a couple of days of July, and be there the first week of August, because that's when the good hot and heavy stuff. Because then they start breaking off and going to LA and scrimmaging the Broncos. Them, so you don't really get a lot of the good inter squad work. And
you get some nice weather then, too.
Right? You feel me? So we're gonna be out there and hopefully get some good tape and be able to see these rookies and see how Dak and them look. I'm excited as always to hit camp.
Yeah. The only trouble is you've told me you are going. I was trying to find out. Now I know. You know that it's just going to be a constant bombardment of questions from me. Like, James, what's this look like?
It's all good. It's all good. Hey, that's what I was out there doing them videos for. I'm out there talking with it. I love it. Because then, like I said, we all love to listen to the guys from the Cowboys or whatever. But I always said I want to see it through my own eyes. I want to see it up close. I want to see these players for myself, and then can be a judge to say, hey, this dude is kind of nice, because I know I went to camp and I thought certain things, and then when I seen him at camp, I thought something totally different. Especially one to be example was J-Ron Curse. I was thinking something totally different when I watched the tape, but then when I watched him up close and saw what they were doing with him, I was like, okay, I'm changing up. He's going to be a player with Dallas this year.
Yeah, seeing a person up close and taking snaps for real is totally different than tape.
Yep.
You get a different perspective, don't you? But yes, that is it for the linebacker position from us. I know obviously you got your own stuff to be getting on with, and it's getting late into the it's about just gone 5 o'clock for you over there now.
Yeah, but it's late over where y'all at, ain't it?
Yeah, early after 10 p.m.
Yep. Oh yeah, see, let me get y'all off. Y'all need to go to bed.
yeah.
Well, you say go to bed. I've just literally just ordered some pizza, so that's me.
Okay. I got you.
Just so you know, though, in Scotland, James, they deep fry their pizza.
Yeah, we do.
Deep fry pizza.
Yep.
Seriously?
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't get
Wow. Okay. You're going to have to, when I get down there, you're going to have to show me that. I ain't even going to say that sound good.
We call it a pizza crunch. That's what we call it.
That sounds like a definite piece of more than a crunch.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's going to break your teeth.
You eat it, and you can feel your heart rate going faster. Going, oh my God!
Bet.
Yeah, help! I need aspirin. Yes, we'll let you go, mate, because we'll just run the adverts here and close out the show. But thank you very much for joining us again. We'll get you on maybe like during the preseason games, and as we rank things up, and we can show you what it all looks like for season 4. And we'll get you back on, mate.
Well, you know what it is. All you do is hit the inbox, and I'm ready to go, big dog. And I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all again, and man, y'all have a great night.
And you have a great weekend, all right?
You too, man. Peace.
Bye. Right. Okay. So yes, that's the linebacker. He is a legend. And as you can see, here he is, right up on the screen. He's over there on the right, look, smiling away. His little face. And also, if you are going to go to a game this year, make sure you tell Cowboys Experience we sent you, and you'll get yourself a little shifty nifty. But talk about this for me, Paul. What is this that's on the screen?
This is the 2023 care package for our UK Cowboys fans. So if you want to come along with us, be sure to get in touch with Cowboys Experience, and they'll hit you up. All the details are on our Facebook group, and the details, what's included in the package,
which is a lot.
It's a lot. And also the prices and the range of the prices, what you want included, etc., etc. And be sure to go to our Facebook group and check it out.
That's right. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for it. The only trouble is people are going to be asking us questions, but if me, you, and Jamie are together, tie in with Lorne and Brian as well, we're not going to be very sober.
No, you're talking about, I would say maybe over 90% of the time we're going to be slightly intoxicated or recovering from being intoxicated.
And it'd be like,
I think the only day we're going to be completely sober is when we're actually going home.
So you can get back on the plane because you know that it's gonna happen where they're gonna be like, oh, fancy coming over here and joining us on our podcast, and you're gonna be like, I am too drunk to be talking Cowboys.
Yeah. That literally happened to me like the day after when I joined Shannon and Nate Newton on the Jacksonville game. like the day after when they did that documentary on myself, like I was still wasted from the game. I was so married out my face, and I walked into the studio and I'm just like, oops. It was such a great game. I just want my bed pretty much. and even Shan is like, dude, you look like crap.
When after you went to the basketball game?
No, that was the year before.
Oh, the year before,
That was the year before.
Well, anyway, that is it from us. Join us next week. We're going to be looking at the cornerbacks as we're on to the penultimate show for season 3. Looking at cornerbacks, then the week after safety special teams. But that is it from us. Have a great weekend. We'll see you all again. Stay safe. Finish us off, Paul.
Have a good one, guys. Go Cowboys.